First, let me welcome family and friends. You have traveled maybe an hour or two, maybe 20 hours or several days to be here today to honor and celebrate today's graduates. Over the last few years, I imagine that you have called, texted, sent money, paid bills, listened sympathetically, and given advice when it was sought, and sometimes perhaps when it was not. You have made today possible. Welcome. Well, welcome to the faculty, advisors, and administrative staff of Eugene Lang College. You have mentored and taught, inspired and urged, given tough feedback, spoken honestly, and shared your time, your intellect, your passion. You have made today possible. Thank you. And most importantly, welcome and congratulations to the class of 2018. You have, with the help of everyone here, earned a college degree. You have studied long hours, rehearsed written papers, debated in class, read books and articles, participated in community projects, attended events, held jobs. You've been persuaded to think differently and help others to think differently. You have joined groups of all kinds, and ultimately, we hope that you have gained a fuller sense of the world and who you are, what you can do, and what you want to do. The last months of college is a time of updating resumes or curriculum vitae. Often used in education, the term curriculum vitae gestures to something more than a list of past accomplishments. Curriculum vitae is Latin for life's course of study. And as you have a curriculum vitae, one that now includes BS or BA or BA and a BFA, so institutions also have a life's course of study, a curriculum vitae, known not only by the titles of the courses, though that list is interesting, but by those who have taught and studied at the institution. That list for the new school is long and remarkable and inspiring. It includes John Cage, Robert Frost, Margaret Mead, Eric Fromm, Martha Graham, W.E.B. Du Bois, Eileen Miles, Sekou Sundiata, to name only a few. And while their subjects and approaches are diverse, what their teaching always has in common is the certainty that learning depends upon human relations. It depends upon, draws upon, cannot happen without human relations. This understanding is core to your education at Eugene Lang. Learning through human relations is the premise of the seminar, the hallmark of Lang. It also happens in silent conversation when you are reading a text. It can happen in the dance studio. It happens in the science lab. It happens in the professor's office. It happens in late-night conversations with peers. Cage's experimental music classes, and W.E.B. Du Bois's classes on race, Martha Graham's dance classes, and Sekou Sundiata's classes in poetry, democracy, and justice are all part of our institutional curriculum vitae. In these people, and in you, today's graduates, I see a commitment to learning that is fierce, radically open and restless, always curious. Every one of you is now part of Lang's and the New School's curriculum vitae. Your learning, your courage, your social justice activism that often demands more from us, more from the institution. All this makes us wiser and better. Thank you, graduates, for shaping Lang and for shaping the New School. The members of the class of 2018 come from 33 different states and 20 different countries, and you join a community of more than 5,000 Lang alumni who live and work around the globe, and who share your passion for learning, for justice, and for finding your purpose in life. One alumnus wrote to me recently about his legal practice. He told me, quote, "Lang prepared me to see different sides of an argument. And Lang made me feel I can make a difference in my clients' lives, most of whom are indigent." Another alum described the unusual turn his life took at Lang. He wrote, "I chose Lang because no math was required. But I ended up taking math and science. And although I was a creative writing major, I am now a software engineer." He concluded, "I left Lang with the confidence that I can teach myself anything." Finally, one alumnus has urged me several times to remind Lang students that life after college, just like life within Lang, is never straightforward. And she especially challenges those who might say to you that a passion for justice isn't practical if you want to get a job. She says, not true. Social justice values have guided her every decision. She majored in politics and urban studies. She did a year in AmeriCorps, then worked with congressional representatives in Washington, D.C., and then gigged at a think tank. 2 years ago, she completed her PhD in public health and accepted an appointment at Boston Children's Hospital, where she works on health disparities. Creativity, social justice, community engagement, writing well, thinking critically, it turns out, are a compelling course of study. It is a powerful and compelling curriculum vitae. It is an honor to be a part of this community, and it is my pleasure to congratulate the class of 2018 on this day of celebration. It is my pleasure to invite Dominic Pettman, Professor of Culture and Media and Associate Dean of Faculty Affairs, to announce departmental honors.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thanks all. Congratulations. You actually all look great, too. Who said Parsons is the most fashionable college? So we would now like to recognize students for outstanding academic work in their programs as nominated by the faculty. As I call your name, and please forgive me if I mess it up, please stand and remain standing until all the award recipients are called. And as best as you can, please hold your applause until all the names are called. So for outstanding work in anthropology, Lena Hansen Binti Ali. Thank you. And Sabina Mori Sloan. For outstanding work in dance, Olivia Picard. For outstanding work in contemporary music, Alexandra Grudzinska. For outstanding work in theater, Sonia Barrientos. Joshua Leclerc. Andy Fortier. And Yu-Ling Wu. For outstanding work in visual studies, Kazuo Robinson and Pooja Seshadri. For outstanding work in arts and context, Miriam Vergara, Zada Clark, and Zafira Matthews. For outstanding work in culture and media, Abdul Kircher, Anderson Doon, and Adriana Herrera Paramas. For outstanding work in economics, Eliana Jarbo, Aditya Singh, Gaspar Cello, Mazen Kawaja. For outstanding work in environmental studies, Jerome Frost, Iri Ewers, and Olivia Gamber. Outstanding work in gender studies, Andrea Nappi. For outstanding work in global studies, Dominic Flaxberg, Sarah Jane McIntyre, and Maren Hurley-Matz. In history, Elizabeth Indek. Interdisciplinary Science, Carly Leary, Marina Delgado, and Rachel Gottlieb. Journalism and Design, Iris Torres, Sung Won Baek, and Ritika Karnik. Liberal Arts, Peter Lamson. Literary Studies for Literature, Stefano Ortiz and Cameron Skakel. For writing, Hannah McClagger, Aidan Farrell, Jasveen Sarna, and Kyle Hertz. Philosophy, Kiyomi Mino. Screen Studies, Djali Brown Sapira. Also Andrea Nappi, unless there's two Andrea Nappis. Alexandra Scarlato. Urban Studies, Sade Swift, Samiha Ahmed, and Julia Foote. And I believe that is all our award winners, so give them everyone congratulations to them. Christina, are you? Yes. So I'd like to now welcome Christina Dawkins, the Director of Civic Engagement and Social Justice, who will present the David S. Woods Humanitarian Award.
The David S. Woods Humanitarian Award recognizes graduating seniors for exceptional humanitarian service to the community. The honoree must have an outstanding academic and service record, showing evidence of having extended herself or himself in an unusual degree to help others. This award was established in honor of David S. Woods, a New York City youth who died coming to the service of another. I would now like to ask this year's awardees, Jasveen Sarna, Sierra Bland, and Sade Swift to please join me. Jasveen Kaur Sarna majored in literary studies, writing with a minor in race and ethnicity. During her time at Lang, she focused on the intersections of poetry and politics. She is proud of having the honor of being involved in lots of student-led organizing, which gave her the tools to organize outside of campus. Sierra Bland majored in global studies. Her favorite class that she took while at the New School was Narratives of Black Women in the 20th Century. She is most proud of her time volunteering with the Fortune Society, helping the formerly incarcerated use theater as a way to tell their stories. Sade Swift is a queer Afro-Dominican freedom fighter creative who was born and raised in Washington Heights and now lives in the Bronx. Sade has spent her time at Lang pushing back and resisting in and out of school. She wears many hats, but ultimately is fighting for the liberation and healing of Black and brown people everywhere. It is my pleasure to present the David S. Woods Award to Jasveen Sarna, Sierra Bland, and Sade Swift.
I'm pleased to introduce Kim Libman, who will present the Dean's Alumni Circle Award. Kim Libman is a program director at Change Lab Solutions, where she leads the organization's work on food policy. Before joining Change Lab Solutions, she worked at the New York Academy of Medicine as director for prevention and community development. As a researcher and advocate, Kim has worked at the intersection of public policy and health for over a decade. She has expertise in food systems, hospital community benefit, affordable housing, health impact assessment, and community-based planning. Kim's work on chronic disease prevention spans local, state, national, and international levels. She earned her PhD in environmental psychology at the Graduate Center of the City University of New York and completed her MPH in community health education at Hunter College. She studied interdisciplinary science while at Lang.
Yep. Class of 2018, it is my honor to celebrate with you and to present this award. But first, let me say congratulations. You did it, and I know how much work it took to get you here. 5,400 alumni have graduated from Lang since the college's founding 33 years ago. Today, as you join our ranks, you grow our alumni community exponentially. As alumni, you will remain an important part of the Lang family. Lang uniquely honors all of us as serious learners, thinkers, doers, and change agents. And together, we have the power to continue to shape this dynamic college. I encourage you to embrace and support this community, to stay connected to Lang, and I think most importantly, to stay connected to each other. The Dean's Alumni Circle Award recognizes a student who has been a leader and advocate for Eugene Lang College, who has demonstrated a community-minded spirit, and who will stay connected to Lang and the alumni community. This year, my fellow alumni and I were invited to vote for this important award. The class of 2018 abounds with many deserving individuals, but of all of those considered, there was one that stood out. I would now like to invite the recipient of the 2018 Dean's Alumni Circle Award, Yu-Ling Wu, to please join me. Yu-Ling Wu is an artist and storyteller from San Francisco, California. She is finishing up her fourth and final year as a BAFA student with a major in integrated design, theater, and a minor in ethnicity and race. Her work sits at the intersection of vulnerability, humor, and love. If you ever need to find her, you can be sure to spot her at the 13th Street RA office or at your local Sephora. I'm pleased to present this year's Dean's Alumni Circle Award to Yu-Ling Wu.
Thank you very much, Kim. I now would like to invite Cecilia Rubino, who received the award in 2016 for the Faculty Advisor Excellence Award and the Staff Advisor Award, which she will present today.
Good morning, everybody. And I want to add my congratulations as well. It's what a privilege to be here. I'm presenting the Faculty Advisor Excellence Award, which is presented annually to recognize exceptional service, guidance, and mentorship by a faculty advisor at Eugene Lang College. The recipient is selected based on their strong interpersonal skills, mentorship, their academic guidance, attuned to both individual needs and intellectual coherence, and their effective facilitation of student decision-making and empowerment, all promoting a positive college experience for their advisees. This year's recipient of the Faculty Excellence Award is Zishan Urgalu. My colleague in theater, Zishan, is this year the Director of Arts and Context at Lang, and in nominating Professor Ergülü for this award, students specifically referenced her dedication, approachability, and accessibility as a faculty advisor. One advisee wrote, "She literally is the most dedicated, passionate, and caring person that I have come across here at the New School. Being a teacher and an advocate for students is ingrained in her being, and I have witnessed firsthand the amazing amount of patience and love she has for students that come her way. For her efforts as a faculty advisor, a teacher, and a source of support and encouragement to Lang students, we are honored to recognize Zishan Ergülü with this award." Zishan is trekking the world right now, so she's not here to accept her award. So Yuling Wu will come to accept in her honor. It's additionally my pleasure to honor for the first time the exceptional service and guidance and mentorship of a member of our professional advising staff. This inaugural recipient was selected from the nominations of the senior class and has been a resource to students and faculty alike. This year's recipient of the Faculty Advisor Excellence Award is Leah Wyke. Yes. So, from this resounding hurrah, in nominating Leah Wyke, students specifically talked about her knowledge of the institution and willingness to help students. One student said, "Leah Wyke is not only a brilliant advisor who has a great deal of knowledge about the university, regulations, and policies, but she personally demonstrates concern for each and every student's progress and well-being." Another student wrote, "Leah has helped me countless times, whether in guidance or resource. She is incredibly knowledgeable and quick to respond to any and all inquiries." And I think I join all of my fellow faculty saying, it's Leah who late at night, early in the morning, and on weekends responds to us. So we can't thank you enough. For all of her efforts as an advisor, a source of support and encouragement to Lang students, and for her love, we are honored to recognize Leah Wyke with this award.
We couldn't do it without you, Leah. It is now my great pleasure to introduce this year's student speaker, Aditya Singh. Aditya graduated from Lang in the fall with a major in economics and a minor in writing. He believes that the world cannot be shaped by the rational-minded economic models still prevalent today, because people are not rational all the time. One of his favorite classes was behavioral economics, taught by Professor Julia Paschunder, where he wrote a research paper on prevailing social structures in Saudi Arabia that create an unequal standing for women. It was titled "The Road Less Traveled." Please join me in welcoming Aditya to the stage to deliver Lang's 2018 Student Commencement Address.
There. Okay, is this good? All right. Hello, everyone. This is a big crowd. I dreamt about giving this speech. Of course, in the dream, I missed it because of elevator traffic. Jokes aside, I'm honored to be representing my classmates. I've been fortunate to spend time with so many of you, getting to learn together and being involved in presentations as well as protests. We all complete a big step as we get our degrees and look beyond with excitement at what is to come. We gather here today to celebrate with our family. They're over there, my family, faculty, and my friends, people who supported us and made these years special. After about 4 years of mastering essay writing, perfecting MLA citations, and analyzing and solving the problems of the world, we're now expected to go run it. The hurdles we face may seem daunting, but I promise you, we're capable of getting past them. My time at Lang makes me feel confident when I say that too. And I'm not here to sprinkle cheesy inspiration your way. Well, maybe just a dash of it. Here goes. So, as a kid growing up in India, I fantasized about being a superhero. I was the narcissistic savior, but more accurately, the frightened boy with a lack of self-belief. I grew up thinking that I was an accidental coin in the washer. You see, in India, your occupation plays a major role in how you're perceived. And there, we've got the Holy Trinity. Perfect setting for this. Engineering, medicine, and law. If you don't practice one of the dogmas, you're greeted with a slight ridicule, especially from your mom's friend whose child's at MIT doing something with nanochips and all that science fiction jazz. And there I was, a lost soul swimming in a fishbowl, making sense of Pink Floyd lyrics while my friends were deciphering how cyclotrons accelerate particles. I wanted to fit in, to belong, but it was getting exceedingly clear that I would have to bend. In this hopeless pursuit, I became intent on having my very own coming-of-age story. Growing up, I was burdened by impossible societal expectations. It got so bad that I came to believe that only supernatural powers could make up for all the inadequacies that I thought I had got. I remember a moment in high school when someone, an authority figure, told me that I was worthless and that I would never be able to be successful. It was tempting to accept the imposed notion that I might not be good enough. The words reinforced my feeling of self-doubt. Loser, I carved on my notebook. 6 squiggles in blue ink lay between solid lines, forming a word that served as a reminder that I was only destined for failure. These moments, though, they define your character. I was presented with the choice to accept something that wasn't true and to surrender myself to the status quo. And I almost complied by defining myself as how someone else saw me. But then I decided to reject that definition, immediately scratching the word away. And I chose to define myself in my own terms. My first step towards that was to attend a new school. 4 years ago, I landed in New York, rolling a couple of 50-pound suitcases, entering the defining part of my coming-of-age story. I was privileged as I got the opportunity to seek out another way of defining myself. My super supportive parents, there they are again, they let me leave for another continent as long as I stayed under the watchful eye of my brother and sister-in-law because, drugs can be a problem. And I can't thank my family enough for all they've done. Their commitment and their support has been influential in me standing here today. Well, what attracted me to the new school, besides it being in New York City, was its history. It was called the University in Exile, providing refuge to many people before its arrival. Some new schoolers were fleeing literal oppression, as did the German scholars fleeing the Nazis in the 1930s, while others, like me, were seeking a sense of belonging. To me, a superhero fanatic, it was the equivalent of Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. The place where inquisitive minds could find purpose, one where they could thrive. Lang was a magical part of the new school, offering the knowledge in a mystical field called liberal arts, something still rather alien in India. So alien, in fact, that a relative gave me an art set as a parting gift because arts. But the liberal arts opened up a whole new vista of disciplines for me to discover. What unearthed in this exploration was a penchant for social justice. I found a passion for representing community voices and pushing for advocacy by participating in organizations that make establishments accountable. Working at the college newspaper, shout out to the New School Free Press! Woo! And Full Frontal with Samantha B., I was involved in endeavors that raise awareness about crucial issues and highlight institutional practices that need reworking. This interest in social justice bore fruit in 2015, when I was a sophomore at Lang and had returned to India to participate in an NGO in Rajasthan. Our assignment was to survey government-run public schools into the sandy expanses way past Jaipur. It was a push for bureaucratic transparency in an effort to improve the quality of public education. I was amped up after I read a bunch of social justice material over freshman year. The thought of roaming around villages, having no idea where you'll sleep, what you'll eat, being around complete strangers, visiting schools, talking to kids, their parents and the teachers, reporting all the good, bad, and ugly that you could find. Sure, that felt cool. Definitely sounds meaningful and fun, right? So, on the morning of my 4th day, the coolness started to burn in the searing heat. Slowly, my new reality was setting in. I'm in a rickety Jeep, squished with 13 other passengers. We cruise over an endless road, kicking up a cloud of dust and gravel as we go. A man in front of me feels like making small talk. As I finish giving my introduction and telling him my cause for coming to volunteer, the man just nods and says in a deadpan tone, "Why are you wasting your life here?" That response is not something that I was prepared for. I open my mouth and try to muster a complete sentence when, thankfully, another volunteer takes over the conversation. We proceed, but I can't get the man's words out of my head. I question myself. What am I doing here? Is he right? Am I really wasting my time? Perhaps I don't belong here. I was barely into my sophomore year of college, spiked up on testosterone, and already questioning my commitment. Maybe the occasional thoughts of Lamborghinis and big houses would have provided better goals. But that's when my Lang training became apparent. The education gives you an ability to think critically and be introspective so that you can go beyond self-interest. I realized the magnitude of my situation. I was in Rajasthan reporting on the conditions of public schools in a local newspaper. I rode on a dilapidated bus with a goat sitting next to me. I was volunteering with other college students, not because we couldn't get corporate internships, but because we knew that we could make a difference if we just challenged the status quo. I rallied for transparency, helping students and their parents realize their agency in school administration. The kids didn't need sympathy. They wanted to have the voices be heard. And I had the opportunity to help them on their way. People were invigorated upon realizing the strength within themselves in shaping their future. Soon, I was striding along the desert terrain with barefooted leaders of tomorrow, making an incompetent state structure take responsibility for its actions. I found a sense of purpose, and in doing so, I was not wasting a moment of my life. Realizations like this, which kept me on the bus with the goat, I call him Bill, were possible because of the intensive readings we do at Lang, all of which deal with asking questions and experiencing the world, the real world. Thanks to our professors. Please, a huge round of applause for them. I'll take a tangent there. Thanks to our professors, we're shaped into better thinkers. We come out of here appreciating the complexities of life and knowing, perhaps most importantly, what it means to be empathetic. The fields we study may seem vastly different, but the economics, literature, theater, journalism, and even independent cinema courses that I took at Lang challenged me to broaden my perspective and my perception of the world, and have added value to my decision-making process. I'm sure that unconsciously, many of the things that you've learned over the years will inform your choices and keep coming back to you in meaningful ways. When I came in New York, I was desperate to have my own coming-of-age story, something that would define me as some superhero and prove my doubters wrong. But my years at Lang have led me to change my understanding of superheroes. I realized that you don't really come of age. You grow, and you continue to do so. There's no limit to it, and thus, there's no end to your story. Lang has made me appreciate learning for learning's sake, and I crave knowledge and value creativity. My education at Lang has led me to understand that these qualities are no less valuable than being able to fly around in tights. You'll agree that the process can seem painful, but once done, there's no better feeling than to know that you've written a good research paper. Unmasking capitalism as an ideology that alienates humans, one that serves to strengthen people and institutions that are already in power. That's not just a fancy title with scholarly citations. We write these in the hope that people have a debate and are given a platform to hold powerful institutions accountable. That right there is quintessential Lang. And I, like each of you graduating today, am steeped in that sense of righteousness. This school has not shaped us into a rigid thing that's set in its ways. It's molded us like clay, and we can go out into the world continuing to be shaped as we try to make a difference. And we sure will, because we at Lang are a little rebellious. We learn to critically understand the complex and disturbing problems facing our global society, and instead of just whining about them, we try to devise strategic solutions. Even though I now say that superheroes aren't real, and that spiders aren't radioactive in real life, something I wish I knew sooner, heroism still exists, and it's a collective effort. I can proudly say that each one of us here has heroic abilities. These abilities are in a plethora of fields, and they've been sharpened by this university and our wonderful time together. But our work isn't done yet. As the wise Uncle Ben once said, with great power comes great responsibility. It's an overused adage, but it's a reminder that accountability for our actions is essential, and that people have the power to impact change. If we're not satisfied with the status quo, a push for change rather than an acceptance of what powerful agents dictate is the path we must tread, no matter how daunting. Capes and masks, they're optional. Congratulations, graduating class of 2018. Be proud of this moment and continue to define yourself in your own way. Thank you.
Thank you, Aditya. I'd like to invite to the stage Nicole Rodriguez. Nicole is a contemporary music major with a minor in creative writing. Her time at Lang has been marked by the cultivation of an incredible artistic community that has helped her to grow and has challenged her constantly. Her highlights have been classes such as musical blueprints with Virginia Dellenbaugh, poetry workshops, and her study of Buddhism in Tibet. She will be performing a song of her own choosing for the graduating class.
Red is the color of the leaves as they depart from their place among the squirrels and the bees about the park. Oh, and red is the color of the apples hanging down and the children reaching up and saying, Mom, look what I found. Oh, and red is the blood as it rushes to the surface of my skin when I wake up from a midnight hallucination. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Every second is a rocking boat, and I've got seasickness. Things keep changing. Every time I turn around, it all leaves me behind. But you are the leaf, the wind, the caterpillar, feather, dirt, the dizziness, the pumpkin. Oh, pumpkin, keep coming back around. There's a dog barking somewhere at his shadow. He don't know what light is, but I do. Watch me do my puppet show against the wall. I am a professional at hiding. Things keep changing. Every time I turn around, it all leaves me behind. You are the leaf, the wind, the caterpillar, feather, dirt, the dizziness, the pumpkin. Oh, pumpkin, keep coming back around. Ooh. Things keep changing. 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 Red is the color of a friend saying goodbye, headed off to somewhere far away with no good reason why.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. It is now my pleasure to introduce Professor Andrew Meier, this year's faculty speaker. Andrew is chair of the Journalism Plus Design program at Lang. He's a nonfiction author and journalist who writes on political and foreign affairs. At present, he is a contributor to the New York Times Magazine. He's currently at work on a biography of the Morgenthau family, 4 generations spanning the presidencies of Woodrow Wilson, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and John F. Kennedy, to be published by Random House. He is a graduate of Wesleyan and Oxford, and he has reported from Russia and the former USSR for more than 2 decades, where he worked as a staff correspondent for Time. He has received fellowships from the National Endowment for the Humanities, the Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars, the Alicia Patterson Foundation, the Coleman Center for Scholars and Writers at the New York Public Library, and, most recently, the Leon Levy Center for Biography at the CUNY Graduate Center. Please join me in welcoming our faculty speaker for 2018, Andrew Meier.
Impossible acts to follow. Aditya, Nicole, unbelievable. I remember your excellence in the classroom, but quite frankly, you both just blew me away. I'm going to be brief. I know you've all been patient. You want to hear your names read and get on with it. But I just want to walk you back from what I've learned from you, the amazing class of 2018. Mike Brown, it was early August 2014. You were all getting ready to come here to start school. A 28-year-old white police officer encountered Mike Brown. 12 bullets were fired. Mike Brown was 18, the same age many of you were at the time. Ferguson. In class, we watched the tweets. We followed the rage unfold in real time. And that night, Ferguson became a landmark, a code word, a warning. February 14th this year, a high school in Florida, 17 killed, another 17 wounded. Parkland, another landmark, code word, warning. These are the bookends of your college career. And right in between, November 6th, 2016, the day that everything changed. It's been warp speed, your years in college, and your generation has moved as fast as any across the landscape of turmoil in American history. So too have the movements of protest. Black Lives Matter, the Women's March, Me Too, Never Again. And here too, at the New School, even in recent days, a sit-in for cafeteria workers, a strike for student workers. We tell ourselves stories in order to live. Joan Didion. At Lang, we like St. Joan. At one point, I even counted 4 different classes reading Joan at the same time. Stories. There can be no collective memory without them. Words, images, and yes, Snapchat. It wasn't so long ago, in the wake of Occupy Wall Street, that many railed against the 1%, and in particular at Goldman Sachs, that great vampire squid wrapped around the face of humanity, as one writer in Rolling Stone cried. But the man running against Hillary also cried, and when he won by 78,000 votes in 3 states, he put the men of Goldman Sachs right back at the levers of financial power in government. What changed? In the Great Depression, at least 7 million Americans lost their homes, and no banker went to jail. How did the memories vanish so fast? The designers call it the attention economy, and I've learned its costs. When everything is everywhere, a click, a tap, a swipe away, you face an attention funnel. The designers tell us, only feed your audience one idea at a time. But is that right? Think on it. The sands shift faster and faster, falling further and further from our collective memory. November 7th, 2016, the morning after. Some suggested cancel classes. We didn't, and you came. None of you missed it that day. Many of you had seen the faces on the subway, tears and disbelief. It was, some said, like a second surprise attack. And in the classroom, the shock only grew. Around the table, more tears, even among the few of you, and yes, you do exist, who supported the triumphant nominee. But something happened. You began to report, and you began to tell the story. How did it happen? How did it affect us, our community? Some of you spoke of clergy, a minister in Bed-Stuy who listened when you asked, "Where is God?" And of family, a stepfather who texted in the middle of the night, "It's going to be all right." And yes, you discovered among your family and your Facebook those who voted against your dreams. But taken together, your stories told another surprise. You would not meet shock with despair, but action. Before, I wasn't sure I wanted to do journalism, one of you said. Today, I know. I want to tell stories. I want to tell true stories. You did not quit. You doubled down. About a year later, we had a disruption, a week of curriculum disruptions, in advance of the 400th anniversary of the first Africans brought to Jamestown. 400 years of inequality. The response was overwhelming. A pressure valve burst. One of your professors offered a speech from 1851, Sojourner Truth's Ain't I a Woman? It's a stirring text. It speaks both to the injustices of slavery and of sexism. The professor made the point that the 15th Amendment gave black men the vote in 1870. But it was another 50 years until the 19th Amendment gave black women and all women that same right. These two moments, the day after the election, the week of the disruption, they stay with me. I felt then, as I do now, proud to be part of an institution and a community that embraces our differences and seeks to enrich our common humanity. Parkland, a landmark, code word, warning. But for what? This time, something's different. This time, our children are calling us to account. Barack Obama's words a few weeks ago. It isn't the first time. The Children's March, April 1963. You all know Martin Luther King's letter from a Birmingham jail. King wrote on scraps of paper, the margins of newspaper, the edges of letters, whatever he could get smuggled into solitary. It's one of the strongest essays on social justice ever written. But King is actually uncertain. He's at a low point in the struggle. He writes, quote, of the disappointment with the white moderate. He'd spent months preparing for those marches in Alabama, but they'd fizzled. Nothing went according to plan until the children marched. Taylor Branch, historian of the King years, calls it the tipping point in a tipping point year. You know the photographs, Bull Connor and his men, fire hoses, batons, dogs, loosed on the children. That was the spark, Branch says, the engine that got things going. Look up the Children's March. Learn that history. Tell their stories to tell your own. Today isn't really the finish line. It's the starting point. And you all know the goal, a life of learning. You know the rules, too. Some are easy. Never upgrade. Take more walks. Look up every word you don't know. Have a conversation with someone in their 90s. Take the bus to Rikers. Sit out on a fire escape with a friend until daybreak. tell more jokes, even bad ones. And put Eugene Lang College on your resume and find someone here today who's going to write that first letter of recommendation and get her cell phone. But some of the rules are hard. Quit Instagram. Look into someone's eyes. Learn a second language. Listen to your passion. Know your biases. Find your focus. Read more books. Read more books. Make a buck. Money is always nice, but don't ever take a job just for the money. And please, I know it's hard, never ever take a job for no money. Pace yourself. One foot in front of another, the war photographer Chris Hondras told one of our classes. Fall down, stand up, Andre Lambertson, the filmmaker, said. Embrace change. One of the first great lessons of my adulthood, Jesmyn Ward wrote recently in a piece on Scott Fitzgerald, is that I change. As I grow, she wrote, my dreams change, as do my ideas about who I can be and what I want during the short time that I am alive. Lifelong learning. It is an art, and it may be the most powerful one. Parkland, Dreamers, Black Lives Matter, Me Too. Who gets the credit? I'd like to say it's the journalists. They won the Pulitzers, but it's not. It's you all. Each one of you will write the future, and it ain't gonna be easy. You inherit a world of contradiction, where people have become brands and news, including the reporting of life and mass death, products. Where in a city as grand as ours, homeless still fill the streets, and others buy $1,000 Christmas trees only to be abandoned on Christmas Eve. Where a movie with an all African American lead cast can take in $700 million and be all about power, and it's a fairy tale. Where public schools are segregated today as they were 50 years ago when Dr. King was shot. And where one morning at Lang recently, I stood in a room of newly admitted students, some 24 high schoolers, and when I asked them, how many of you know someone who's died of an overdose? Every single hand slowly went up. We tell ourselves stories in order to live. I like to think at Lang, we tell each other stories in order to change the world. Parkland, a warning. Change does come. A young woman with a shaved head and an infectious smile and a voice trembling with outrage gains more followers on Twitter than the NRA in a single week. Almost 1 million more. And in Florida, a Republican facing a tight race, a veteran who lost both his legs in Kandahar, Afghanistan, comes out against assault weapons. There is much work to do, and you will do it. But you've already done so much. You've already stood out here at Lang, on a stage, in a classroom, on a podcast, and yes, in sit-ins and walkouts. This generation, your generation, has taken on the big issues, the tough questions. And if you make us, your elders, uncomfortable, that's just how it should be. For we grown-ups in your midst, we have failed you. We've told you that the arc of history is long. We've told you that it bends towards justice. We've told you to practice patience. But you will not be patient. You want change, and you want it now. And we, your elders, will thank you. Thank you, and congratulations to each and one of you.
one last Lang seminar. Thank you, Andrew. It is time to present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts. The names will be read by Marjorie Ocho-Coons. I will, for the first graduate, be joined on the stage by a New School alumni, Stanley Stein, class of 1953, who wants to congratulate his granddaughter, Lauren Stein, class of 2018. We ask that all parents and guests please remain seated while we get the students lined up. And we will start calling names when the graduates are in place. Not yet, you can wait because we have to get the students lined up.
Josephine Jason. Nicole Rodriguez. Sydney Robinson. Haley Zalewski. We know you, but Aditya Singh. Lauren Stein. Christopher Howard Woods. Adriana Herrera Peramos. Sierra Bland. Jasmine Corsana. Yo Ling Wu. Sade Swift. Michael Tall. Irina Molin-Menard. Dominique Gedank-Flaxberg. Elisa Lopez. Mariel Tejada Taveras. Ana Milyak. Trisha Wong. Camilla Udumsap. Cassidy Nelson. Merritt Darrow. Emira Duversi. Taylor Rose Walsh. Hannah Emmert. Gemre Nefjapas. Cameron Skakel. Naomi Yumila Spencer. Yumalia. Ing Yang Muslin. Antonio Deliso. Natalie Klorek. Vogue Nyambri. Connor Moody. Roxana Alvini. Ruben Wilson. Benjamin Bailey. Dinorca Concepcion. Ray Reyes. Ashley Bustamante. Alexis Arambula. Iris Torres. Melissa Guerrero. Natia Paz. Adriana Nicole Rodriguez. Michael Klunder. Jasmine Pusser. Julia Foote. Samiha Ahmed. Olivia Picard. Lindsay Patrica. Anna Maki. Hazel Sharon. Carly Leary. Jordan Espute. Briar Eckersley. Jack Bradley. Stefano Ortiz. Doris Glor Abaiwe. Omotola Omolaloye. Agarim Unduka Erabor. Kayla Toscano. Ivana Aguilar. Karina Richardson. Emma Mazdu Perez. Myra Khan. Julia Moses. Jolly Brown Cepeda. Graham Epstein. Rachel Stewart. Haley Pearson. Irie Ewers. Priya Perkins. Paolo Iacovelli. Julia Kaiser. Lena Hansen Binti Ali. Margaret Tierno. Emma Kennison. Andy Fortier. James Cooper. John Weicker. Madeline Sinak. Louisa Strothman. Marco Lanier. Jessica Espinosa. Desiree Rodriguez St. Please. Alexa Davis. Nico Geyer. Juliana Dunphy. Monica Granke, Celeste Camilla, Joshua Leclerc, Sonia Barrientos, Morgan Wilson Menting, Rose Cronin Jackman, Elizabeth Indek, Ulana Everett, Alisa Jones, Saad Al-Nassar, Carl David Parson, Joseph Gregory, Pooja Seshadri, Sierra Britton, Emmanuel Olunka, William Sachs, Hazel King, Lina Bergamini, Liam Bang, Alexandra Klujenska, Nia Aline, Nicholas Sweethearts, Grace Song, Kevin Duarte, Corinne Chin, Kyrie Myers, Vritika Karnik, Tomoko Lannon, Allison Filosa, Janelle Ashley Corporan, River Donahue, Marin Hurlimetz, Sarah Jane McIntyre, Elizabeth Noonan, Lamis Beidoun, Carl Dimitri Garde Due, Christian Scott, Catherine Buckley, Olivia Driscoll Gamber. Valentina Thayer. Richard Scano. Alea Malik. Enrique Carniero. Truman Ports. Quinn Sullivan. Kelsey Podaras. Molly Oberman. Alexa Ray Vigos. Laura Lillian Jackson. Chloe Richmond. Asha Umatia. Edwarda Schock. Liam Gloucester. Rachel Nichols. Danielle Pierce. Sung Won Bik. Ana Del Savio. Allison Griffin. Alice Lee. Gabrielle Lehner. Sadie Bell. Mishka Capriles. Sydney Carol Oberfeld. Julia Pekar. Max Head. Alice Nemoto. Ana Sayas. Andrew Mondras. Alexis Johnson. Luca DeFabio. Gabriel Garuto. Isabella Klein. John Schlesinger. Caroline Deloney. Aiden Ryder. Meredith Bastian. Subal Ramirez. Courtney Conway. Maya Elias. Lena Landstrom. Emily De Filipis. Fatima Nazir. Rachel Gottlieb. Zafira Matthews. Nicole Watlington. Caitlin Rowlands. Jacob Safarian. Kai Min Jiang. Zosha Warpeya. Emily Yasina. Christine Lifton. Charlotte Lewis. Grace Parish. Marina Delgado. Callan Shattuck. Madeline Bird Dugan. Stephanie Martinez. Ashley Huarbe. Abdul Kirscher. Caio da Silva Sorrentino. Christopher Della Camera. Mazen Khwaja. Oh, okay. Sarah Abdallah. Christina de Blasi. And last but certainly not least, Kayla Barbera. Let's give a warm round of applause for all of you, your 2018 Eugene Lang College graduates.
Dear graduates, as you are stay standing, just for a minute, everyone else can sit down. Now, I'm not sure which side you have your tassel on, but at the moment, it should be think my script is wrong. It should be on the right at the moment. And now, together, you will move it to the left. And if you could please have a seat. Thank you to everyone for coming. We cannot celebrate without a family, a community, and without the stories, some of which we heard today, that make this community and help us to live and do the work that we believe is purposeful and aimed towards justice and community and courage. If you would remain seated, the faculty will process out, and then the students. Congratulations to the class of 2018.